What do you do when everything you've poured your heart into is about to crumble? When the walls are closing in and you're forced to make a choice that defies logic, maybe even defies judgment? This is Elara, and her beloved bookstore. The dusty page wasn't just a business. It was her sanctuary, her legacy. But sanctuaries can't pay the bills. For months, Elara had watched foot traffic dwindle, watched online giants swallow her customers, watched her savings disappear like morning mist. The smell of old paper and ink, usually her comfort, now smelled faintly of decay, of failure. She'd tried everything: sales, local ads, even dipping into personal funds she didn't have. Now, she was facing eviction. Desperate doesn't even begin to cover it. And then there was Samuel, a fixture on this block for months. Most people walked past, eyes averted. Another invisible soul weathering the storm, literally and figuratively. Elara had felt pangs of pity, maybe offered a coffee once or twice. But today, desperation sparked a different, wilder thought. I need help. Any help? She whispered to herself. Elara took a deep breath, unlocked the shop door. The little bell jingles, startlingly loud in the quiet. She stepped out under the small awning, rain pattering around her. Samuel looked up, wary, expecting to be told to move. Excuse me, sir? Elara called out softly, hesitant. Yes, ma'am? Samuel's voice raspy from disuse. Not causing trouble, just getting out of the worst of it. I know, Elara said, taking another step closer. Listen, this is going to sound strange, but I need some help in the shop. Cleaning, organizing boxes in the back, maybe sweeping up. It's not much, but I could pay you $10 an hour, cash. Today. Samuel looked surprised, suspicious, then a flicker of something else. Maybe hope? He looked down at his worn hands, then back at her. You want to hire me? Looking like this? I need help. Elara met his gaze steadily, a touch of her desperation leaking through. You look like you could use the work. Are you interested? After a pause filled only by the rain, Samuel slowly nodded. Yes, ma'am, I am. I work hard. Just like that, a lifeline was thrown. Maybe not the one Elara expected to throw or Samuel expected to catch. It was a transaction born of sheer necessity. But sometimes, necessity is the doorway to something unexpected. Can you imagine the risk Elara felt? The vulnerability Samuel must have carried stepping into a world that usually shut him out? The first few hours were thick with unspoken tension. Samuel swept the floor methodically while Elara watched from the counter, unsure. An elderly customer entered, eyed Samuel suspiciously, clutching her purse tighter. Elara forced a smile, stepping forward quickly. Later, while dusting a high shelf, Samuel paused, pulled down a leather-bound book, handling it with surprising reverence before putting it back. Elara noticed. She brought him a steaming mug of coffee. He accepted it, with a quiet "Thank you, ma'am," his eyes expressing more than words. In the back room, he worked diligently, creating neat stacks from a messy pile of donations. Elara wrestled with her doubts, the whispers of what-ifs. What if he stole something? What if he scared away the few customers she had left? Samuel worked silently, diligently, his movements economical, his presence quiet but solid. He didn't just clean, he seemed to see the chaos, the potential underneath the dust. Elara was sorting through a box of old, seemingly worthless paperbacks near the back when Samuel approached hesitantly. Excuse me, ma'am. This box. These look like mid-century science, fiction first editions. Some publishers, their early runs are quite sought after by collectors, even the paperbacks if they're in decent shape. Elara looked up, surprised. She picked up a garish-looking paperback he indicated. Really? These? They came from a house clearance. I was about to put them in the dollar bin. This publisher, Galaxy Press, their first print run of Asimov's early work. Samuel pointed gently to the copyright page and a specific detail on the cover art. See the illustrator's mark here? And the binding type? It's distinctive. Might be worth checking online. Not a fortune maybe, but more than $1. Elara stared at Samuel, then at the book. A new kind of surprise registered on her face. And there it was. The reveal. Samuel wasn't just a pair of hands, he had knowledge. A quiet expertise that hinted at a past far removed from the street corner. Who was this man? Elara felt a jolt, not of fear, but of curiosity, of wonder. Elara looked it up on the small, outdated computer behind the counter. And then she looked again. Samuel was right. The scruffy paperback was worth nearly $80. Not enough to save the store, but it was something. More than something. It was a spark. Elara walked over to Samuel, who was now carefully wiping down the front window, making the dusty page lettering gleam. Her demeanor had changed, less guarded, more open. Samuel, you were right about that book. Thank you. Seriously. Where did you learn so much about old books? Samuel paused, looked out at the street for a moment before turning back. A shadow of sadness crossed his face, quickly masked. I used to spend a lot of time in libraries and bookstores a long time ago. My wife, she loved poetry, first editions. A moment of shared understanding, of unspoken grief and past lives hung between them. This was the first powerful act of kindness. Elara seeing Samuel beyond his circumstances, opening a door for connection. Well, your knowledge is certainly useful here, Elara said softly. Listen, the $10 an hour stands, but I was thinking, there's a back room, mostly storage, damp. If you wanted to help me clear it out properly, maybe fix that leaky pipe, I could offer you a bit more. And she hesitated. There's a small cot back there. It's dry. If you need a place to stay for a night or two while you work. Raw emotion surfaced on Samuel's face. Shock, disbelief, and overwhelming gratitude. His eyes glistened. Ma'am, Elara, I don't know what to say. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. His voice thick with emotion. Kindness. Sometimes it's as simple as seeing potential where others see despair, offering dignity, offering shelter from the storm. This was Elara's second act of kindness, born not just from desperation now, but from genuine recognition, and it was transformative. Samuel, looking slightly cleaner now, expertly sorted books, creating appealing displays. He and Elara talked over coffee, and Elara actually laughed at something he said. He pointed out another potentially valuable set of books, old maps hidden within an atlas. A regular customer noticed the changes, the cleaner space, the interesting displays Samuel created. She smiled warmly at Samuel, asked him for a recommendation. He gave one thoughtfully. Samuel didn't just clean, he started breathing life back into the dusty page. His quiet suggestions, born from a forgotten love for the written word, were surprisingly astute. A children's corner here, a display of local authors there. He worked tirelessly, not just for the pay or the cot, but with a sense of purpose Elara hadn't seen in him or herself for a long time. This was Samuel's kindness in return, pouring his hidden talents back into the place that offered him a chance. Weeks later, the store looked brighter, cleaner, more organized. There were a few customers browse. Elara was at the counter, looking less stressed. Samuel was helping a customer find a specific author. It wasn't a miracle overnight. The bills were still daunting, but something had shifted. Hope had found a crack to seep through. Samuel's knowledge had unearthed a few more, modest treasures, adding small but crucial amounts to the till. His presence, initially a source of anxiety for Elara, had become steadying, comforting. The bell on the door jingled. A well-dressed woman entered, looking purposeful. She approached Elara. "Excuse me, are you the owner? I saw an online listing. A first edition paperback, Asimov?" Elara's eyes lit up. She glanced toward Samuel, who gave a small, almost imperceptible nod. This was the book from weeks ago. She listed it online as he suggested. Yes, I am." Elara smiled genuinely. "And I believe we have what you're looking for. Samuel, could you—" Samuel retrieved the book carefully from a protected shelf behind the counter. He handed it to the woman, who inspected it with delight. "It's perfect, exactly as described. I'll take it." The woman paid. Elara processed the sale, her hands slightly trembling. As the woman left, Elara held the money, looking at it, then at Samuel. "Samuel," her voice filled with emotion. This covers the rent for this month. It actually covers it." Samuel met her gaze, a slow, deep smile spreading across his face. It reached his eyes, erasing some of the weariness. "That's good news, Elara. Very good news." Elara walked around the counter, impulsively reached out and put a hand on Samuel's arm. A simple gesture of partnership, of shared victory. "We did it, Samuel, we did." It wasn't just about the money. It was about the connection forged in desperation, cemented by kindness and validated by trust. It was about seeing the human being behind the circumstance. The dusty page wasn't saved by a single sale, but by the quiet, persistent power of two people choosing hope, choosing to see the best in each other when the world encouraged them to see the worst.